Deep within the Segmentum Obscurus, a small cruiser containing a company of the Emperor's First, the Dark Angels, receives a transmission from an overwhelmed Imperial Bastion.
The Emperor, not them! Hold the line, damn it! For the glory of chaos! We've been overrun! Traitors. Commencing attack. Cleanse, purge, kill!
Chaos powers have seeped from the Eye of Terror, compelling the nearby population towards insurrection. Fearing that this corruption could spread throughout the sector, and knowing all too well the strife that this could cause, the Dark Angels rapidly deploy a strike force to assess the extent of corruption and exterminate all who would dare besmirch the Holy Emperor's name. Hello, and welcome to JamHammer. In this video, we're going to see the clandestine forces of the Alpha Legion face off against the legendary Dark Angels. This is the first time I'm playing 40k since way back in the early 2000s, when it was still the long-standing 3rd edition. The game looks to have moved on quite a bit in the past 6 iterations, so I'm really excited to see how it's changed and how it plays now. Speaking of firsts, I recruited my partner into playing this game with me, so this is her first time playing 40k ever. As such, we're both bound to make mistakes, so apologies in advance for any glaring errors or tactical missteps. Also worth noting is that we recorded this prior to the Q2 balanced data slate, so there'll be no Armour of Contempt rules here, and this is also well before the new Chaos Codex is released, so still on single wound Heretic Astartes, etc, unfortunately. Enough preamble, let's get into deployment. This will be a 500 point combat patrol battle using the only war mission included with the freely available online rules. We'll place 4 objective markers on the board, and at the end of each player's command phase, we'll score 1 victory point for each objective marker we currently own. If one of us controls more objectives than our opponent at the end of the battle, we'll also score 1 bonus victory point. A further victory point is awarded for Slay the Warlord. No secondaries will be taken, just to keep things simple for our first game of 40k. Onto the armies, and after a shockingly long time, I finally painted the miniatures from the Dark Vengeance set that I unboxed as the very first video on this channel. So we'll be fielding forces from this set. I'll be commanding the slippery Alpha Legion, whose Legion trait, hidden in plain sight, should help to keep my units safe from fire as they sprint down the board baying for blood. Leading my army is a Chaos Lord. They have the Exalted Champion Warlord trait, giving them an extra attack in melee, as well as the Black Mace artifact weapon. I'll also be bringing a secondary HQ choice, a Sorcerer, with the Prescience and Warp Time psychic powers. My troops will be a unit of 10 cultists armed with auto pistols and brutal assault weapons, plus 1 with a flamer. And my second troop choice is another squad of 10 cultists, this time with auto guns and a heavy stubber. Helping to break through the Imperial lines will be this elite Hellbrute, bringing a multi-melter and monstrous fist to bear. And finally, another elite slot will be filled by these 5 chosen, armed with an array of power swords, an axe, fist, and a pair of lightning claws too. Facing off against this Chaos host will be the stalwart forces of the Dark Angels. Their Grim Resolve chapter tactic will help them to hold the line and mow down their fallen brothers. Leading the army, we have a captain wielding a relic blade and a combi plasma gun. This is the Warlord, so they have the Fury of the Lion trait to boost the strength of nearby units in the fight phase, as well as the Honor Vehement relic. To assist with challenging the Chaos corruption, we have a second HQ choice here too, with a Librarian who knows the Trephination and Engulfing Fear psychic powers. They will be leading 2 troops choices. The first, this squad of 5 tactical marines bringing a colossal plasma cannon to the field. and this second unit of 5 tactical marines, this time with a plasma gun, and the sergeant armed with a plasma pistol and chainsword. Finally, we have a fast attack option with these 3 Ravenwing bikers armed with yet more plasma, plus another chainsword on the sergeant. I'll pop the army lists in the description below if you want to check these out in more detail, as well as the timestamps for the battle if you wanted to jump to a particular section. If you would like to help to support the channel, then there's also a link to a PayPal wallet in the description. Any donations will be gratefully received and will be put towards creating more content like this. We'll begin then by rolling off for placing the objectives. Throughout this video, the orange dice will be for my Alpha Legion forces, while the whites will be for my partner's Dark Angels, except where we inevitably run out of dice. So I win this roll off and place the first objective marker just to the right of this light terrain. I'm measuring here to ensure that the objective is no closer than 6 inches to the nearest table edge, as set out in the mission briefing. Next up, my partner places objective 2 next to this ruin. I initially place objective 3 by this brownstone, but the briefing also stipulates that these must be at least 9 inches away from each other too, so I move it to the far side instead. And then the last one is placed just outside this ruined chapel. With all 4 objectives placed, we now roll off to see who gets to pick their board edge. I lose this time, and my partner decides to take the closer edge, leaving me with the far side. This means that I'll be deploying first. I begin by placing my chosen just behind this ruined archway so that they're partially obscured from view and within light cover. The first Dark Angels tactical squad is placed in a similar position behind the ruined chapel and just out of range of objective 1. I set up the melee cultists on one flank, pressed very far forward and in front of that smattering of light terrain. I should also point out too that these white dice are being used to illustrate the edges of our deployment zone, which is 12 inches deep. The next tactical squad with the plasma cannon is set up within light cover here and well within range to secure that first objective. Next up, my range cultists are going inside this ruin, so they've got some protection from incoming fire, as well as being within range to secure objective 2. Ravenwing are going down now, just behind the brownstone, so they're blocked from view and raring to race across the battlefield. I place the Hellbrute on my other flank, hoping that it's at least a little blocked and protected by the Munitorum containers. The Dark Angels Warlord, the captain, is placed snugly behind the foremost tactical squad. I counter with my Sorcerer hiding valiantly behind that Hellbrute. Final placements now, and in a somewhat risky move, the Librarian is placed inside that brownstone to face the Chaos Forces alone, it seems. Chaos Warlord is deployed last inside that unit of melee cultists. All the units have been set up now, and we're ready to roll off and see who will get the first turn. Just before that though, an Alpha Legion are going to spend a command point right off the bat on the forward operative stratagem. This allows a pre-game move of 9 inches for 1 infantry unit, so the melee cultists are going to move into the cover of this chapel and, very cheekily, sit themselves right on top of objective 4. But this does leave the Warlord somewhat exposed. Let's hope for that first turn. Rolling off now, and it is indeed Alpha Legion to go first. In the command phase, the Alpha Legion regain that CP and go back up to 3. They also score 2 victory points for capturing objectives 2 and 4. Movement phase next, and the Hellbrute pops out from behind that cover, followed closely by the Sorcerer. The Lord moves forward to sit behind the cultists too. No sooner does he get there though, than they move off again towards the centre of the chapel. Out in the open now, the Lord advances. 4-inch roll gets them safely pressed up against that wall and out of sight. At the end of the phase, another CP is spent, this time on Renascent Infiltration, allowing an Alpha Legion unit to be removed from the tabletop and set up at the end of the next movement phase, anywhere on the battlefield that's 9 inches away from enemy units. The Chosen are chosen and removed for now. Onto the Psychic phase, and the Sorcerer is attempting to manifest Prescience on the Hellbrute, granting them +1 to hit. Need a 7 here, and they just about get it. The Librarian tries to deny, but only gets a 3, so it goes off. They're now going to try and cast Warp Time on the Hellbrute. Need a 6 here, and they get a 10, easily passing the test and allowing the Hellbrute to make another 6-inch move closer to the Dark Angel's ranks. First shooting phase next, and the cultists in the chapel are opening up with their 8 auto pistols. Need 4s to hit, and all but 2 find their mark. The pathetic low velocity rounds need 5s to wound the mighty Space Marines though, and only 2 manage this. No AP on these guns, so 3-up saves for the Marines. But 1 does take a wound. The last cultists bring up their flamer now, arcing a gout of flame at the Marines. 3 shots, auto hitting, and we need to see 4s to wound now, but no dice, and the Marines are unscathed by this. The Hellbrute charges up their multi-melter and scans for a target. Spotting the Librarian hiding among the dilapidated brownstone, they unload both shots from their gun at them. 1 goes wide, but another strikes home with a 5. The powerful beam only needs a 2 to wound, and manages it on a 3. With an AP of -4, the Librarian is stripped of their 3-up save, but is afforded a 6-up save from being in light cover. They only manage a 3 though, and the weapon punches a staggering hole through their armour. Rolling a 6 for damage, and the Librarian is reduced to a smouldering pile of robes. Inspired by the Hellbrute's devastating attack, the cultists holding up in this ruin open fire with their 8 auto rifles at the tactical squad taking cover behind the chapel. Needing 4s to hit, and 1 single hit. Needing 5s to wound again, but on a 3 this is easily shrugged off. The last cultist fires off a salvo from their heavy stubber and manages 2 hits. Need 4s to wound here, but double 2s come up, meaning no wounds from this squad. Cultists at their finest. Onto the charge phase, and the melee squad, slathering spittle and foul oaths, storm at the Imperial lines, rolling an 11 for their charge, and easily making it in to attack the tactical squad. They encircle the Marines, and, disgusted at these loathsome traitors, the Warlord declares a heroic intervention and joins the fray. The deranged cultists welcome this new challenger and pile in. Before they can fight though, the Dark Angels spend their first CP on the line unbreakable stratagem for their captain, meaning only those cultists within half an inch of this unit will be able to attack. This only leaves 3 able to attack the captain. Resolving their attacks first then, and they get 6 from their brutal assault weapons, but being mere mortals, no hateful assault perks for them. Needing 4s to hit, they get 4, and now 5s to wound. They do get a wound, but this just bounces off the Warlord's armour. The rest of the cultists pile their attacks onto the tactical squad and manage 6 hits with their crude weapons. 5s to wound, and that's just 2 saves to make. Ooh, double 1s! So the wounded Marine falls, and another is damaged by the furious swipes of the traitorous humans. Seeking revenge for their fallen comrade, the Marines fight back with their combat knives and the revving chainsword of the veteran sergeant. With shock assault procced by the enemy charge, that's 9 attacks total, needing 3s to hit, and 4 miss. They are within range of the captain though, so re-rolling that one, and that's 6 hits. 3s to wound these flimsy chaos, and all but 1 succeed. 5 saving throws of 6+ now, and 2 are actually successful, so only 3 are chopped down by the Dark Angel's counterattack. I realised afterwards that the Sergeant's Chainsword is AP -1, so we should have rolled these separately as they would have afforded no armour save. Anyway, the Captain attacks now with 5 swings from their Relic Blade. All hit, and needing 2s to wound mean 3 go through and slay another 3 cultists. The cultists consolidate close to the fight for now, but will their nerve hold? Onto the morale phase, and having lost 6 units, only a 1 will save them now. Rolling a 4, and one of the cultists breaks and flees the battle. Now rolling to see what the other 3 do. They're below half strength, so 1s and 2s here will see more deserters. And 2 more bolt, leaving only the champion to hold the line. Going back up to 3 CP to begin with, plus this tactical squad holds objective 1, meaning 1 victory point is also scored. Movement phase, and the tactical squad decides to fall back from this engagement and go for objective 3 near this brownstone. They're just about 3 inches from this, so they'll score another VP if they still hold it by the end of the next command phase. The captain follows suit, falling back and leaving that 1 remaining cultist exposed in the middle of the table. The Ravenwing bikers are moving now, and this being the first turn, the Devastator Doctrine is active, meaning they can move a staggering 17 inches for their movement. They can also advance and shoot their weapons, albeit at a -1 to hit, but they do it anyway, also granting them a 4-up invulnerable save from shooting due to Jink. They're now also contesting the objective marker that the Alpha Legion Warlord is currently sat on, but they're a bit close to that Hellbrute. No psychic phase for the Dark Angels anymore, so onto the shooting. The tactical squad decides to split fire, with 3 bolt guns going into that cultist, and the other bolter plus the plasma cannon going into the Hellbrute. Shooting the cultist first, and this doesn't look good for them, all hit. 4 wounds too, so needing a miracle, and it's so close, 3 6s, but a 4-2 means they're eliminated. Shooting the Hellbrute now with the bolter, and due to Grim Resolve, they're hitting on 2s. Another mistake here though, as this should have been cancelled out by the hidden in plain sight, so they'd actually need 3s to hit as usual. But 2 1s roll for the wound, so those don't go through anyway. Not overcharging and rolling for the number of shots of the plasma cannon, and that's just the 1. Rolling a 2 to hit, so thought at the time that this had hit. And then rolling to wound, gets a 6. -3 AP goes up to -4 AP due to Devastator Doctrine, so that's 1 wound, and the Hellbrute goes down to 7. The Ravenwing are going to unload everything into the Hellbrute too, so rolling the bolters 1/2 at a time here. Hitting on 4s due to advancing, and that's 3 hits. The other half, and please excuse the orange dice, don't own enough it seems. Only 2 more hits. Need 5s to wound, and that's just the 1 which is saved on a 3. 1 also has a bolt pistol, so that hits, and wounds, and actually goes through. Plink down to 6 wounds remaining now. The Ravenwing are within 6 inches, so there's a crack grenade going in too. This hits, it wounds, and the save has failed. D3 damage now, and that's another wound for the Hellbrute. Lastly, the plasma gun, but completely forgot that this was rapid fire and only fired the 1 shot, which missed with a 2. Clearly, I've still got 3rd edition rules rattling around in my head. Since the Hellbrute sustained wounds, I'm going to roll for his crazed rule now, but this doesn't go off. No units were eligible to charge with the Ravenwing having advanced, so on now to the Alpha Legion's 2nd turn. So another CP generated at the start of the turn for being battle forged, and Alpha Legion only score 1 more victory point this turn due to Objective 4 being contested by the Raven Wing. Onto the movement phase, and the Hellbrute is going to stomp over to get within 2 inches of the offending bikers. The Sorcerer is going to move up to support. The Lord is going to move out from behind the chapel and run along the flank of those bikes. And finally, our Chosen are going to reappear over here near Objective 3, ensuring they're 9 inches away from that tactical squad. Psychic phase now, and the Sorcerer, with no fear of denial, is going to cast Prescience on the Hellbrute, but on a 6, it fails to go off. Going to cast Smite now on the nearest unit, the Raven Wing, and this does go off. Rolling for damage, and that's 2 mortal wounds for the bikers. Into the shooting phase for the Alpha Legion now, and the newly arrived Chosen are going to let fly some malicious volleys at the tactical squad in front of them. 8 hits, and now we need 4s to wound, with half of these going through. No AP, so need 3 ups from the Dark Angels, and just 1 fail, but that's enough to kill the wounded Marine. The Hellbrute decides to target the same unit and fires off their 2 multi-melter shots. Both hit, and both wound. Minus 4 AP here, so these blast straight through the power armor. Rolling for damage, and unfortunately, they're outside the D6+2 range, so one is exploded, and the other just glanced and loses a single wound. The Chaos Cultists on the parapets are looking for targets too, and decide to fire their autoguns at the same unit. Only 2 hit though, and not a single wound. Split firing the heavy stubber into the far tactical squad holding the objective, and 2 hits again, and no wounds again. Puny humans. Onto charges now, and the Hellbrute can't really fail, but rolling anyway to see how far they can go. 7 inches, so they're gonna go in at the side here. The Chosen now, with their eyes set on the tattered remnants of that tactical squad, will need a 9 to get in, so quite a stretch. And they get it with double 6s. Brutal. The Chaos Lord wants a piece too, so declares a charge at the Raven Wing. 9-inch charge here, so comfortably over the train and in at the back. The Dark Angel's Warlord, not to be upstaged, decides to join the melee too, and heroically intervenes in this combat. We'll start off this fight phase with the Hellbrute then, who gets 4 attacks base, plus a bonus 1 for Hateful Assault. Hitting on 3s with their fists as Prescience failed. 1 miss, but thanks to the Lord, they get to reroll that one, and then they all hit. Strength's 12, so only need 2s to wound, and that's 5 wounds going through on the bikers. Down to a 6-up save, and these need a miracle to hang in here. They did make 2, but unfortunately that's not enough, and the whole Ravenwing unit is wiped out in one fell swoop. The Hellbrute then consolidates forwards to block the Warlord from view. Onto the Chosen fight, and they're splitting their attacks. First 2 with power swords are going into the remaining tactical marines to clear them from holding Objective 3. Needing 3s to hit, that makes 5 successful hits. They're out of range of the Lord's reroll, unfortunately. 3s to wound, and 3 go through. With a reduced saving throw of only 6 up remaining to them, the Marines don't make it and are wiped from that objective. Also, I forgot the Death to the False Emperor was a thing, so I didn't remember at the time that those 6 to hits procced an extra hit, but guess that would have just been overkill at this point. The Dark Angel's Warlord stands alone to face the rest of the Chosen onslaught. Lightning Claws first, and only 2 of these hit, but that 6 would have made it 3. Damn. Rolling to wound, and 1 fails, but with the reroll to wound, this just about goes through on a 4. 2 saves of 4 up needed now, and 1 does damage the captain. In with the power axe, and you can see there that I've just remembered Death to the False Emperor, so count this 6 as proccing an extra hit. Starting to wake up now. 2 wounds to save on their iron halo and the captain makes it. No damage sustained. Last attack from the champion's power fist, and 2 6s make this 5 hits. Wounding on 2s, and 4 are successful. Back to the iron halo, and 2 make it through. This would be enough to slay the warlord, so another CP is spent to re-roll this. It all rests on this now. Can they make it? No! It's a 2 again. So the captain is crushed by the mighty swings from the champion's power fist. The Dark Angel's warlord has been slain, and that's another victory point for Alpha Legion, bringing them up to 4 this turn. But only in death does duty end. For 2 more CP, the captain gets to swing their relic blade into the Chosen to hopefully take a few corrupted brothers down with him. We weren't sure at this point if the unit creating an aura can be affected by it. Please do weigh in down in the comments. We settled that, although the aura may well affect them, the captain isn't core, so it doesn't apply here anyway. So 3 hits were counted. Rolling to wound now, and 2 of these go through. The Chosen fail their remaining 6-up armor save against the relic blade, and the 2 with power swords are brought down by the avenging captain. And with a pretty devastating second round, the Alpha Legion now holds 3 objectives, while a single Dark Angel's tactical squad stands alone on Objective 1 to face the oncoming heretical hordes. Dark Angels turn 2, and they gain 1 CP, plus 1 VP for holding that objective. They're also moving into the tactical doctrine at this stage to see if they can bring the pain with their bolt guns. No movement this turn, and straight into shooting with them pouring everything into that Hellbrute. Starting off with the plasma cannon, and apologies that my partner picked up the orange dice for this one. Death or glory, it's being supercharged this time. It gets a 3 this round, so firing 2 shots. Both hit. But oh no, snake eyes to wound. Spending the last CP on a reroll, and it wounds. AP -3, so can I save this on a 6-up? Yes! The Chaos Gods smile upon me. 4 bolt guns now, double firing, and 6 hit. Needing 5s to wound, and 2 of them do go through. These are at AP -1 now thanks to the tactical doctrine, so 1 passed, and 1 failed, takes another wound off that Hellbrute. Is it time for the Alpha Legion to finish this with turn 3? At the start of the turn, Alpha Legion get an extra CP, plus 3 victory points for holding objectives 4, 3 and 2, meaning that they have 7 in total now, with the extra point for slaying the enemy warlord last turn. In the movement phase, the sorcerer is going to sit on this objective out of line of sight. The Hellbrute and Chaos Lord are moving up towards the remaining Dark Angels, and the Chosen are just going to pop around the corner so they can shoot with their bolt guns. No sidekick this round as everyone's out of range, so straight into shooting with some malicious volleys coming from the Chosen. 5 hits and yeah, just checking that they are in range of the Lord, so re-rolling that one makes this 6 hits. 4 ups, and that's 6 wounds too. Half of these go through the armour as well, meaning 1 dead Marine and 1 wounded. The Emperor has clearly forsaken the first. The Hellbrute now with their devastating multi-melter, and just the 1 hit on a 3. This wounds though, and with an AP of 4, another Marine is murdered. Onto the charges, and the Hellbrute fumbles its roll with only a 5. Spending a CP to re-roll this makes it a very nice 11, so it storms into the remaining Marines. The Lord declares a charge too, but only gets a 4, and has to stand back and watch as the Hellbrute fights alone. It attacks with its fist, and gets 3 hits. Only 2 wounds going through, so not quite enough to destroy the squad. Needing 6s to stay in this, and they get them! No wounds at all from the Hellbrute. The Dark Angels fight back with 4 hits from their combat knives, needing 5s to wound, and they get 1 in. This is saved on another 6 though. Into the Dark Angels' 3rd turn, and they opt to move into the Assault Doctrine. They also get 1 CP, and, being OBSEC on Objective 1, get another victory point, bringing their total up to 3. In the shooting phase, they let loose a few shots from their bolt pistols, hitting the Hellbrute 3 times. 1 wound goes through, but it's stopped by the armour. Into the fight phase, and they get 2 hits, but fail to wound. The Hellbrute fights back with 3 hits. These all wound 2, so the Dark Angels need some more miraculous 6-up saves. Oh, and 1 hangs in there. My partner's still refusing to concede, embodying the stalwart defenders of the Imperium to the end, so we go into Alpha Legion's 4th turn. They get another CP, and 3 more victory points for holding 3 objectives, bringing them up to 10 against the Dark Angels 3. The only movement this turn is from the Lord towards that lone Marine. No shooting, so the Lord only needs a 3 to get into combat, and manages it. In they go, and swinging 6 strikes from the Black Mace, score 5 hits. 3 of these wound, and with no more 6s to be seen, the final Dark Angel Marine is smashed into a bloody pulp. Alpha Legion have won the day. If we count the 4 objectives held, plus the bonus point for controlling more objectives than our opponents at the end of the 5th and final round, then we have a final score of 3 for the Dark Angels and 15 for Alpha Legion.
Glory to Chaos.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking it, subscribe to the channel, and clicking the bell to be notified of new videos being released. Overall, I really enjoyed playing 9th edition 40k. In a lot of ways it's simpler, with no extra dice, templates, or wounding tables to remember, although this does make it a little less immersive. Having objectives and missions to accomplish is way better though, as so often it was stand and shoot from afar when I played 3rd edition. With the smaller table sizes and things to run out and do, it's dynamic and interesting, with much more of an emphasis on close combat. My only real gripe is that, even though the gameplay is simplified and faster, there's so much to remember now. As you can see, I kept forgetting various little bits for each unit, with so many fluctuations to recall as the battle progressed, particularly for the Dark Angels, who get the perks of Doctrines, plus the added bonuses that these bring to each separate uni within the army. I was so busy going back and forth to the rules for them that I completely failed with several of the Alpha Legion perks. And I'm sure many other mistakes were made that I've missed. There'll be more Warhammer 40k videos being released soon, so please do keep an eye out for new content coming soon to JamHammer. In the meantime, there are plenty of other videos available on the channel, including a few that are on screen now for you to click on. Thanks again for watching.